And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, week number 77. Your weekly dose of Korean StarCraft. I'm of course your host, VIP, with whom I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. It has been far too long since our last KSL broadcast. I do apologize. So KSL was on a bit of a hiatus, especially due to GSL, due to DreamHack Dallas, EWC. There's just been so much, Home Story Cup as well. There's been so much StarCraft going on, so it's been a while since we've embraced KSL, and it was over the weekend. Unfortunately, we weren't able to cast it live just because we were busy covering the Fusion Esports League. So we were covering the qualifiers for the FEL, and the KSL did fall by the wayside, but we're here to catch up. We're here to catch up and to cover those KSL replays, those matches, or the coverage. Let's go. Let us go. We are going to be jumping into the quarterfinals. Here we do have a herO versus 3Point in a PvZ, and we'll also be jumping into Beyond versus Percival in a TVT as well. What is special about this KSL though, and we'll get into it as we get in towards the semifinals, is that Reynor, he also competed in this week's Korean StarCraft League. Bearing in mind that Reynor and Clem and Trigger are all three in South Korea. They're all in South Korea. They all did travel, and they've been there for a couple of weeks at this point, preparing, training, practicing, getting ready for the EWC. So that's why we did see them last night during the Wardy TV Monday, and that's why we're seeing some of them here in the KSL as well. So really excited to see, and really looking forward to seeing their progress throughout the course of the next couple of weeks in the lead up to Esports World Cup. Until then though, we're jumping into our initial PvZ. We're jumping into herO and 3Point game 1, ley lines. Let's go. Let us go. We are jumping on in. Meanwhile, shout out to all those in the chat as well. I do see Medic Jr. I see Baby Links. Good to see you as always. I see Solensvard and Nino Mados as well. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Bom dia, papi. Bom dia. As we are jumping in and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player, Protoss player. We have the red Protoss. Bam. Representing Twisted Minds, it is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, going for the 12 pool, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Hyper 1. It is 3Point. It's going to be a short series. As we do open up with the initial 12 pool, 3Point, he is the cheesiest Zerg player in all of South Korea. He's hyper aggressive, so this is more or less what we expect out of 3Point. A drone being sent across the map as well, so it's going to be a 12 pool alongside a proxy hatchery as well. As we are not keeping it at home, it is being sent out to block, I would imagine, the wall, to block the wall, to commit across the map as well. Again, 3Point, he's typically seen and typically is featured in the StarCraft Evolution League, in the StarCraft Evolution mod, but here he is featured in SC2. Still does compete in StarCraft 2, of course, whenever he can, and now does rock up and getting ready for the hatchery. Just gathering up a little bit more minerals here. Link production has begun. A Probe Scout does come in. Here he does spot the earlier spawning pool. Here he is aware, and here comes the hatchery. Again, does block off that wall, and this will create some more surface area on the buildings. It does make the defense here more awkward for herO. As we do respond here with a Cybercore with a second pylon as well. Here we go, the boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing for 3Point. Let's go. So 12 pool drone pool here out of our Zerg player. Behind this, Zealot is being chronoed as we speak. A good call by herO. Some players do respond to this with a forge. Oh my god, a forge in towards a cannon production. But so far, just the gateway, just the initial Zealot. Drone does slip past. Army soon to arrive. herO, he's fully aware. He does fully wall off. He has the gateway. The gateway is up and running, but again, that's a lot of surface area on the gateway. Oh no! There's a wall! There's a hole in the wall. There's a hole in the wall. The drones are getting in. We have to pull the boys. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. I thought that was a wall off as well. herO! He never walls, but he never walls, even in this kind of position as well. Drones are going to surround here on the Zealot, and Easton surround from the probes though. And Zelda survives. Second Zealot comes in, and herO holds. Whew, herO, he is it's still going to be quite close. Actually, one Zealot does go down. The second Zealot going to be falling as well. It's just the boys. The boys left over, and yeah, herO, he comes out on top. He gets a surround, takes down the links, takes down the drones, and herO survives. GG gets called, and herO will take game number 1. Whew. God. Again, I thought that was a full wall. herO thought that was a full wall. It was not a full wall. There was a hole right here in between, so he had to cancel. He had to scramble for a defense. Crazy setup there, but herO does survive. GG. GG, well played. Ay. Not the cleanest defense out of herO, but a defense nonetheless. And with that, he will claim the first game. And with that, we're going to be jumping into game number 2. Let's go. Jumping to game 2 here. Going to be jumping into Ultra Love. Whew. Okay, let's go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Twisted Minds, leading the series 1-0. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Team Hyper 1. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back, as this time he's not going for the 12 pool. It is a 3-point. Now, even though 3-point is not going for a 12 pool, I expect an all-in. I expect either a 1-base all-in, 2-base all-in. I expect hyper aggression out of 3-point. No one expects 3-point to macro. It's not really his style. It's not really what he goes for. So we'll see what kind of build he does embrace this time. Meanwhile, herO, Gate Expand. Gate Expand into Cybercore. Standard setup here out of herO. Does move out across the map. And 3-point goes for the hatch first. Okay, let's go. Let us go. So we are calming things down. Probe does dip in for a scout. So far, 3-point, he is just getting into his own standard opener, and here he will confirm. He gets eyes on the hatchery, gets eyes on the spawning pool, and will soon get eyes on the gas geyser as well. Again, just forcing some denied mining time here, being as annoying as possible, forcing some inefficiencies out of his opponent. So far, so good. Speaking of, there's the expansions, then follow up here out of herO. Welcome to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is known for 2-base all-ins or even 2.5-base all-ins. German taxis, essentially. German taxis are very common here. The rush distance by ground is very short on Ultra Love, so this will cater towards 3-point style for sure. I mean, towards any kind of aggressive style. As herO, he does tase away at the drone. Does get a little bit low here. But again, here he's already mined the mineral patch, so he cannot mine any longer. He cannot disrupt. Outside of going for the... He wants that drone. Jesus. Oh my god. herO, calm down. The probe takes a lot of hits, takes a lot of damage, down to 5 HP. Does regenerate some shields, and will be able to get away. So here he pulls back, he pulls out. Behind this is setting up. Stargate's back at home, so going for a Stargate opener here. Standard stuff out of herO. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. We don't really expect to see anything too crazy out of herO. herO, he at times can deviate, and he's more than happy to throw down a Twilight Council as he expands and get into Glaive Adepts, for example. For sure, 100%. We'll keep an eye on him, as he does attempt to delay the third, and he will be able to. Does force out a second drone. We do see 3-point force to expand away from herO. Ideally wanted to expand towards the spread faster creeper across the map. So already a nice start out of herO. Does pick in. I see Benedict in the chat. I see Rowdy. Always good to see you. Rowdy. Buenos días. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Sí. So now we do have the initial Oracle in the way. Lings are amassing here for 3 points. A decent chunk of Lings. This is ideally designed to try to punish the third. Trying to punish the expand. herO does shade in. Does shade into the main. Taking a lot of hits already here. The first adept is going to go down. Oracle does hit the natural queens out of position. Getting 1, getting 2 drones. Not bad. Sorry, 1 drone even. 1 drone goes down. The Lings, they counterattack. They're going to hit the third. The third that has yet to exist. Oh, just now being thrown down. The Oracle takes a lot of damage. Getting it to 4 drone kills. The Lings, they hit the third base. Nothing quite here yet. They will check the linear third, but the Oracle arrives just in time. So unfortunate timing here for 3-point. The Lings don't really achieve much damage. They get 1 probe kill, and herO takes the lead. herO takes the lead. In total, he's killed 4 drones, 10 Zerglings. Lings, they don't quite find any damage. herO's on hold position. And we'll see how 3-point, how he does diverge from here. What's the plan? Do we go for an Evo Chamber in towards a lair into Ling Hydra? Do we go for a Baneliness into a Ling Bane Blast? Do we go for a Roach Horn into a Queen Push across the map? Speaking of, More Lings are building up. And that's a lot of Zerglings on the way. 3-point Dustcart works at 38. Again, he's undersaturated. No extra gases. Oracles are killing drones. Meanwhile, Lings, they do hit the third, but there are plenty of Adepts. He's going to get a handful of them. The Oracles, they do pull away. They're still getting more drone damage, though. And Adepts, they hold their own. That was a big investment here. That was 27 Zerglings for 4 Adepts. Yeah, big investment. 10 drones go down. Both Oracles survive. They race back home, and we're going for the all-in. So 3-point is cutting workers here and now. Stays strapped into the main. Thankfully, does react in time. But 3-point, he has 35 workers. And is going for a Ling Queen Dropper-Lord all-in. A bit of a German taxi. I say a bit just because it's a little bit different. There's no roaches. There's no gas. Only Lings and Queens. So purely Ling Queen all in. This will hit faster because we don't have to wait for roaches, but it's all spotted. Zerglings, they're spotted. No shield battery. No shield battery in position. Lings, they can trade okay here. They do get one Adept. Just the one though. God. Even without the shield battery here, he shuts us down. More Lings are amassing, but we're running out of steam at this point. We're running out of steam. Where are the queens? There we go. There we go. Oh no! We leave the queens behind. Come back. Come back for the queens. Oh god, the Lings, once again, they run into the Oracles. The queens are on the way. And 3-point trying to engage. 14 more Lings in production. Again, it's all or nothing for 3 points. Troublelord is spotted. Here he's aware. Oh no, the Troublelord! What am I calling you now? The Troublelord goes down. 0 queens. Smooch. Feels bad, man. As the Lings are being cleaned up, here he shuts us down. And GG. GG gets called. Here he will claim the series 2-0. He'll advance on into the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG will play it again. Just a brutal position there for 3-point. Unfortunately, everything just kind of fell apart. From almost the beginning, he was bleeding out a lot of Zerglings. He wasn't quite able to find much damage across the map, and GG. GG will play it. With that, here he will advance on to the next round, and 3-point will bow out of the tournament. But GG will play nonetheless. And that leads us into our next matchup here, into our next quarterfinals match. A series and a matchup that we've seen a lot of actually over the past couple of months. I don't know what it is about Percival, but he just always finds himself in TVTs. Again, if you've been watching the CranKy Ducklings over the past, I want to say 3, maybe 4 months at this point, whether it's in GSL qualifiers, whether it's in KSL, World TV Monday, Pegasus Cups, Percival, he just keeps running into specifically Bjorn and Bunny. He just keeps running into them, and we have casted a lot of TVTs with Percival as of late, and he has caused some upsets, even against Gumiho. Like Percival, he has been able to take maps and able to take series. He is still the underdog in these matchups, but because he's been playing so much of this, and because he's been playing TVT so often, he has been, of course, getting some better results and has been improving his TVT. But we'll see how he compares to Bjorn this week. Let's go. Especially with game 1, because we're going to be loading into a crazy map. We're loading into Last Fantasy. This is a rare sight in a best of 3. We see this every now and then in best of 5s or best of 7s, but a best of 3, this is a rare sight indeed, and we're jumping in. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Last Fantasy, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Bjorn. And spawning in the top side of Last Fantasy, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Team Little Fairy. It is Percival. And welcome one and all to a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in bottom left, bottom right, or top side as well. So 3 possible spawn locations. We got a plethora of speed zones in the center to make it a little bit faster to rotate between and to scout your opponent. And we'll see how our players do open up. So far, no proxy. No proxy. The Raxes are back at home. Rax here on top of the ramp, but for both players, so far we're calming down. We're settling in. Let's go. Let us go. When it comes to the big features here of Last Fantasy outside of the 3-player sport map, is we do have a lot of choke points. We have a lot of choke points. We have a lot of ramps as well. So you can actually be quite defendable on this map. You can actually fortify yourself on 3 and 4 bases relatively easily if we can get to that point, though. Again, TVT can be quite aggressive, as you can see here. 2 racks. 2 racks Reaper opener out of Bjorn. Not proxied, but aggressive nonetheless. We'll be amassing Reapers nonetheless, and we'll see how long it takes for Bjorn to find Percival. Meanwhile, double gas open out of Percival. So Percival is going for a Rax into a factory, into a faster Hellion, into a safer, more tech-heavy style. Percival, he will have a bit of a stronger, or I should say a safer start from Percival. I do like and I do prefer his position here compared to Bjorn, but we'll see if they find each other and whether or not Percival gets his first Reaper caught. That's going to be the big deciding moment early on here, is that Percival, if he gets caught with his first Reaper out in the open by the double Reaper of Bjorn, the game can snowball very quickly. So Percival, he has to be on point with his unit control, with his reactions, with his micro. Here we go. As he does run into his opponent. Okay, so far so good. Percival pulls away. They find each other. Percival is on notice. He hasn't gotten caught. What's important is that Percival, he hasn't scattered, so he doesn't know how many Reapers are coming his way. But thankfully, he does pull his Reaper back, getting his own second Reaper. Bjorn is going for a factory on 1 base and no CC. They do run into each other. Percival does shoot first. Yeah, better start here from Percival. He's holding his own. Seeing the fastest second Reaper, now he knows. Now he's aware. He's aware something's wrong. Ooh, dives on the Reaper, gets one. And with a Hellion volley, he should clean this up. Ooh, as he does miss a Hellion shot. Yeah, unfortunately, a bit of miscontrol there from Percival. That should not have gone as poorly as it did. It does miss a couple of shots, and we'll lose a Hellion, and things are looking a little bit bleak here as the Reaper goes down. Okay, Percival, he's holding on. Oh no! Pick up another Reaper. Meanwhile, Bjorn is still rallying across the map. He's still rallying. Likewise, ideally, as Percival was trying to chase him down, does chase down the Reaper. Now he can back off, now he can repair. Bjorn, likewise, is also amassing his own Hellions, also rallying across the map. He wants a CC. Nice repair here by Percival. Oop. Does repair, does hold his own, and Percival defends. As long as he doesn't overextend, he's far out on the map. Gotta be chased down. That boy's being pulled away. Being contained on 1 base. Bjorn slowly expanding, getting into this as well, and he backs off. Okay, the game will continue. Bjorn, he's catching up when it comes to his own economy. I will say that Percival does have a lead, that is true. He does have an extra mule, he does have an extra SCV. Percival does have the slightly better economy, getting into his own 1-1-1. Building up into his own Raven production. Tech-wise, Bjorn is, I would say, 1 step behind. Getting to his own 2-1-1 setup with early stim. Okay. Early stim out of Bjorn. So Bjorn will have a more, I would say, mobile composition. Again, that early stim timing can hit quite hard, as we saw stim being researched for a moment there. Did cancel. There we go. Back on the way. Percival, he does rotate, does get caught out. I believe that was just the Hellion though. Yeah, just a Hellion. Collapsing on the army. Yeah, missile goes off, does force some friendly fire though. Yeah, Bjorn, he will shut this down, cleans up both Cyclones. Ay, ay, ay. Ooh, and the Raven barely gets away. But again, bear that in mind, the Dorito cannon, it does do friendly fire. Oh no! Second Raven does pull it back. They're both very low. Bjorn is being active. Still sharking around. You see Percival rushing into a third CC. Beyond's still in 2 bases, still building up towards that early sim timing, so Beyond is going to be the aggressor. Going to be forced back. Will be forced back. Beyond, he has yet to confirm the timing of the base. Gets another Marine. Yeah, now he pokes in and barely still doesn't see. Barely not aware. But again, this is a big power spike for Beyond. He has so many Marines. Now, thankfully, Percival, he is pre-sieged. He is sieged up. But he's not aware of how much danger he's in. And Beyond is pushing forward. Now, Percival does have disables. And he can disable the tank. Does want to be too premature with it. Does pull away. Tank really goes off. And now Percival's aware. He does see the entirety of the army. A couple of boys are being pulled to help defend. Beyond heading into the main. And he pulls back. Okay, he does pull back. He does respect the Ravens, thankfully. Again, the Ravens have a lot of potential, as they can disable both tanks. Beyond dropping into the main base instead. Meanwhile, 8 SCVs going to be going down. Oh no! Oh, the SCVs are not saved. 9 SCV kills. Yeah, Beyond is dropping in. Oh, we have auto turrets instead. They're going to be dealt with, which means no disables. Tanks taking siege. Yeah, they can. They will siege up. Beyond maintains position, but he should be cleaned up by this bio. And Marines, they do collapse in. Tanks will go down. And Percival holds. Percival, he does hold behind this Beyond, getting his own third base on location. We're still in a shaky position here. I still do favor Percival's economic position here, but more SCVs are going down. Late reaction. 4 SCV kills. Percival now down in workers, but up in mules. He did mule quite heavily. Muling at the third. Beyond going for more drop play. Beyond, he's still desperate for damage. Percival also moving out. Beyond scans, spots the army. Percival dropping into the main. Beyond is keeping up. At the same time, Beyond does go for the tank, and he will get it. Yeah, tank goes down. All the boys are being pulled. SCV's going to be falling. And this drop is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand here. It takes out the add-ons. Collapses on the Ravens. Gets 1. Gets almost 2. Picking up more SCVs. And this is critical damage. GG gets called. Beyond, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Beyond will take a lead in the series. Again, it was a pretty intense back and forth. Personally, I actually preferred Percival's early game. He was able to get away with a better economy, able to get away with his third base as well, but he had a really hard time keeping up the harassment. Whether it was the drop play, whether it was the Raven auto-tart harass as well, both were doing far too much damage. Percival was bleeding out so many SCVs. He should have had a greater economic lead against Beyond, but really he was just barely keeping up. He was barely keeping up economically, even though Beyond had a later natural and a later third base as well. So impressive harassment there by Beyond. I mean, there was a lot of pressure on Beyond to actually get damage done, and he was able to pull Percival apart. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game number 2. We're going to be loading into ley lines. Let's go. Here we go. Catching up with that. Este Kaido. You'll be casting EWC, right? I should be. When I say casting, we should be co-streaming the Esports World Cup. I say should be because I believe they recently released forms. I did fill it out yesterday. Filled out the forms yesterday. To get permission to cover EWC. So we should be able to, though, because we did cast it last year as well. We covered it last year. Should be able to this year. But here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is Beyond. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Little Fairy. It is Percival. We go. let's go. This map's new, kind of, I guess. They're a couple of months old at this point, but I mean, I guess compared to what we're used to in StarCraft 2, like we're used to having map pools for an entire year. I guess, yeah, they're relatively new, relatively new. Of course, they're maps from the latest TLMC. So now, once again, we have a double gas opener out of Beyond, double gas opener out of Percival. Percival, once again, going Rax into Factory. This time, Beyond, he calms down and he goes for a Rax Factory opener as well. As a reminder, last game, Beyond opened up 2 Rax Reaper, and he was hyper aggressive, and I would say he didn't find the damage he was really looking for. There was a lot of pressure on Beyond in the aftermath of that, and he was able to actually find the damage eventually. But, yeah, here this time, standard opener. We're calming down. No 2x Reaper, not this time. From here, we can open up Reaper Hellion. We can go for an early Tech Lab into an early Cyclone. Yeah, Reaper Hellion's on the way. Oh, as a Percival, he will delay the CC. He does successfully delay. Back at home, he gets his own CC on location. So a slightly faster base from Percival. Nicely done. As Penny does set up. So far, so good. Like Percival's Percival. I mean, both players are kind of mirroring each other at this point. Percival does have the slightly faster expansion, so he will have the slightly faster economy. And we are taking in different directions here. Tech Lab on the factory out of Beyond. Meanwhile, we do have the Tech Lab reactor on the way for Percival. So add-ons are a little bit later for Percival. Opening up Cyclone. Tech Lab on that starport, and we should be working towards Ravens again. Last game was Percival that did have that Inference Matrix researched. He wasn't able to actually make use of it, unfortunately. But he had potential. Percival diving in. He gets 1. He gets 2 SCVs. Gets 2 workers, but he will lose everything. He gets a full scout. Gets eyes on the Tech Labs, on the setup. He's aware. And again, Percival heading in the same direction. Okay, Matrix is on the way. We should be seeing the same from Beyond as well. We'll get there. Oh, it's okay, never mind. Beyond, he does actually delay his own upgrade here in favor of tank production. So he does start his early tank production. Meanwhile, still Cyclones on the way for Percival. Percival being safer. And he will lock down the Hellions. But Beyond is going to have a much earlier tank setup here. His tank production has begun. Already pushing out. Meeting up with the rest of the army. Second tank is on the way. First tank has begun for Percival. So Beyond, he will have a tank lead. That's really a big difference here between our players. Percival, of course, does have the higher economy, and once again rushes into a faster TC. If you recall, Percival did the same thing last game as well. Faster third base. Does scan, gets eyes on the setup. Third TC now on the way for Beyond. Both players building up in towards the mid game. Okay, let's go. So after an intense game 1, with very much so taking a slower approach here in game 2, this I was not expecting though. Often we see medevac production for drop play, or even going into Vikings for air control. Beyond going for a really early double Liberator. And he's pushing. So a hyper aggressive setup here from Beyond. With this, he can reinforce, and he can try to force his way into the natural. The Liberators can be a big power spike here in TVT. Meanwhile, Percival going for double E-base, double bio upgrades. Little does he know what's coming his way. As Bjorn is pushing forward. There's not much support here for Percival. He's been a little bit too greedy. Where's the bio army? To 5 Marines? Now rotating down. But again, Percival, he's been so greedy going into double upgrades. His army is lacking. And especially with those Liberators, Bjorn, he can break this. Oof. Tank volley goes up. Liberation has arrived. Bjorn slowly forcing his way in. And again, there's no good answer to this. Oh, does lose a tank already. Bit of miscontrol there by Bjorn. Yeah, it does miscontrol. Now setting up. Throws out the auto targets, going for the tanks. He gets one. Yeah, he gets one. He's going to get two. Both tanks go down. There's one tank left. And Bjorn, can he break through that? The second tank actually survives. First one he's holding. He's holding on. He does hold. But he will lose another tank. And boys are being pulled, but it looks like Bjorn, he might barely have enough. It's still so very close. Clutch disable. Clutch disable. Bjorn still rallying. Bjorn still moving in within range of the CC. And behind this, he claims his own. Behind this, his own third base is now on location. Percival, he can try to break out of this by pulling the boys. Not gonna be pretty. Bjorn does on siege. He does reposition. Yeah, better setup here. Now the tanks are a little bit further back. They're better protected. Bjorn does pull away. Okay, Bjorn's still trying to catch out the army. Behind this, working on upgrades. Percival, he does have a stronger 1-1 timing. Again, if you recall, that's why things are looking so dire. Did have the faster upgrades. No armory, so there's no 2-2 for Percival. Going for the drop. Does sink behind the army. Bjorn does spot him. It does shut him down. It takes out all the auto turrets, takes out the Marines as well. A rough fight here for Percival. Trying to push forward, and he does take down one of the tanks. And he will clean this up. Whew, okay, cleans up all the tanks at the same time. SCVs have been going down. 12 SCV kills. Liberator in the main base and in the natural. Once again, the Liberators, they pop up. 16 SCVs. And even though Percival, he had a much better fight, the harassment here is killing him. Just like game 1. 21 SCV kills. And GG gets called. GG gets called. Bjorn, he will claim the series 2-0. And he will advance on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Bjorn, he does overwhelm, he does break through. Again, we saw in game 1, he was able to pop off with his drop play and just pull Percival apart. Likewise, similar story here as well. We saw the Percival, he was cutting some corners, he was being a little bit greedier in some aspects, and he was punished for it. We had, I would say, a much more unique build by Bjorn. It is not standard to rush into Liberators this quickly. It is not standard at all, so we had a much earlier push out of Bjorn. It did catch Percival off guard. He was not aware of it. He was not ready for it, and as a result, we saw Bjorn able to outtrade him, at least when it came to the early push at the natural. Eventually, though, Percival, he was able to hold, able to break out, but again, that was critical damage. Losing that many SCVs, was it 19 plus SCVs going down? That is just brutal damage, game ending, and at this level of play, it's hard to come back from that. GG. GG, well played. With that, Bjorn does advance on, and from here we're getting into the semi-finals. Okay, we have a couple of matches ready for us here. If you recall, we were covering herO earlier. It is going to be herO versus Classic in the upper semi-finals, and we have Bjorn versus Reynor in the lower semis. Oh boy. Here we go. Just need a moment to set things up. Momentum. Supply book. Yeah, supply books also didn't help, of course. Also didn't help. And again, Percival, he had some strong moments for sure. He had some strong moments in both game 1 and game 2. Wasn't his day, man. It wasn't his day. Yeah, beautiful. Here we go. As we are getting into game 1. Game 1 is going to be on Tokamak between herO and Classic. Let's go. Let's go. We do have that PvP. Again, of course, we last night were covering the Water TV Monday, and Classic did shut down Max in the semifinals, I believe. The semifinals of the Water TV Monday, but we'll see how we can compare to herO. We're spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tokamak. We have the South Green Protoss player, we have the Blue Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Green Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. And personally, I do really love casting Classic versus herO. They are very aggressive and very dynamic and very intense against each other, and more so than against other players. So I don't expect a standard builds or standard game or standard series at all between these two, and this can go either way, of course. Classic and herO being the two best Protoss players in South Korea. Let's go. Arguably the world. Clem's PVT has something to say about that, for sure. That for sure. As herO does fan out on the right hand side. Classic moving in with the probe scouts. We do have the second pylon in the main base. herO, he does not proxy. Likewise, Classic soon to be setting up himself as well. Hello. The herO going to be thinking about hiding his third pylon. Okay. Now he's set up. Cybercore has been thrown down. We do see Classic going for a gate expand. A very greedy build here from Classic. Incredibly greedy. But my eyes are on herO. Zelda's on the way. I believe this is to sell the story that herO does plan on expanding. But there's that pylon, so cheeky build by herO again. Everything here screams gate expand. That's why Classic is on patrol. That's why the Zelda's on the way as well. But herO instead is going for the proxy Stargate across the map. And again, this is going to be necessary here just because of how greedy Classic has been. There we go, Stargate's on the way. Classic going to be forced back. Zelda does race across the map. And Classic, does he get the rescout? Does double back. Yeah, the Zelda's not in position, and this is going to be a massive moment here for Classic. No expansion, no Nexus. No Nexus here. That's a massive tell. There should be a base. It doesn't make sense for there not to be. He's going in for the rescout, and he will confirm the third pylon is missing. He knows. Now he knows something is wrong, something is amiss. This build does not add up, at least not what he's seen. And back at home is going for his own Stargate. And you can see he's scouting. Yeah, he's checking. He's checking for the proxy. He knows that something's wrong. He knows that something is up. And Classic, he will find the Stargate. And he does confirm the Oracle. So Classic is aware. Behind this should be getting ready. There we go. Stalker's already being chronoed. And again, herO, unfortunately, he gambled a little bit. If you remember, he sent his Zealot out towards the left-hand side. He was looking for the probe. He missed it. So missing the probe does mean that Classic sees everything. Phoenix is on the way. herO gets into the mineral line. Doesn't quite get the probe. Oracle into the main. Gets one probe. Gets two. That's all he gets. Two workers. That is not worth it. herO getting shut down. Losing the Adept, the Zealots, and the Oracle as well. And now we can just came the production. herO's going to have to cancel. I guess he could finish and recall. Bold move. Oh! As he's gonna have to recall to get out of here. Oh no. Here, yeah, there's the recall. It's a little bit late. Does save the Oracle. Just barely. Aye. And we'll see if herO can make this worth his while. Let's move out. That being shut down. Classic so far looking very secure. Classic does have a worker lead. And he's in position to shut down the Oracle. He does find it. And will shut it down. The Oracle may get a probe kill. Maybe even 2. Heading into the main. Gets 1, gets 2. Just barely. That is still not worth it for herO. herO setting up a proxy pylon. He gets scattered, he gets caught out, and Classic will shut him down. Again, it was a cheeky build out of herO, and I actually really liked the build of choice from our blue Protoss player, but it came down to the scouting. It came down to the fact he did not deny the probe scouts. That set everything in motion. Oh, nice catch. Zogs away the Phoenix, Oracle into the main. 1, 2, 3, 4 probe kills. 5 even. Already achieving more damage than herO did. 6 even. 6 probes go down. Oracle gets caught. As again, herO is trying to turn this into a 1 base all in. He's got 4 gates and blinks, so it's going to be a 2. I said 1 base all in. It's going to be a 2 base 4 gate all in here by herO. He's trying to set up proxy pylons. He's being shut down. It's all or nothing for herO. As he's rallying out. Classic's getting ready. He's got 2 shield batteries. And he has 4 gateways himself. Ay. Okay, never mind. It's keeping up when it comes to his production. He has no blink himself, bear that in mind. But nice target firing. It does target down the weakened Stalkers. Stalkers are going down. And Classic is holding. Classic is holding. He's shutting this down. And again, there's no reinforcements here. There's no proxy pylon. Stargate got depowered. Pylons were shut down earlier. We have a proxy in the center of the map. But it's so far back. Reinforcements are so delayed. And now Classic has his own blink. That blink is done. Robo's on the way. Forger +1. Classic thinking further ahead. You could argue maybe being a little bit too greedy here, but is getting his third as well, alongside everything else. herO does have the Stalker lead. Guardian Shield is activated. Does activate Dark Guardian Shield. With this herO, he might be able to break through, but alas, his defender's advantage. And here is being shut down. It's being shut down completely. Losing another 3 more Stalkers. And there's nothing behind this. Yeah, there's nothing left. GG gets called. There's no way out of this, and Classic will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Classic does take a lead in the series. Again, it was a cheeky build out of herO, and I definitely saw a lot of potential with his build as well, faking out an expansion, but he got scattered. But the probe was able to double back. herO, he missed the probe. He gambled a little bit. It was 50-50. Remember, he sent the Zealot over towards the triangular third, but the probe was hiding at the linear third base instead. So the probe was able to double back, able to rescout, and confirm everything. With that, GG. With that, GG well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 2, and we'll see if herO can bounce back as we load into Pylon. Oh boy. Also, hello 007. Hello. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Good to see you. As we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, also from South Korea, representing Twisted Minds, or representing Virtus Pro, I should say. Previously on Twisted Minds, it is a Classic. Here we go. And again, it's great to see herO competing in KSL just because he has been less active. I know a lot of people have been asking where's herO been over the past couple of weeks, and he has been avoiding a lot of online tournaments. I think a good example of that is that last night, Classic was competing in Wardy TV Monday. herO was not. He was not there at Wardy TV Monday. He wasn't there last week either. Again, herO's been playing less, but a big part of that is because of his own preparation for EWC as well. If you do recall, last year in the lead up to Esports World Cup, herO was also absent for, I want to say, like a month and a half, where he just wasn't playing in anything. crazy. But for KSL, herO shows up. He's here for the Korean StarCraft League. It's his tournament, true. For now, 2-gate opener out of herO. Meanwhile, Gate a Cybercore here by Classic, going for a Gate Cyber into expansion, doing his best Max Packs impression. And again, this shouldn't surprise you. If you've been keeping up with the PvP meta over the past 8 months, you would know that the Korean scene has embraced the Gate Cyber expand a lot more often. They do mix it in a lot more frequently as well in the latest patch. It is a lot more viable. When I say viable, it's, again, just players have just embraced it a lot more in recent times. Both herO, Classic, Trap, Creator, Down. As herO does go for the pylon block. Does go for the block. Will play as best he can. Does go for the Cybercore as well. So a bigger delay here on that natural. And herO can turn this into a one-base all-in. As the probe is still alive. So we'll keep an eye on the probe. We'll see if herO does go for a proxy. Opening up Stargate, but the Stargate is back at home. Okay, so Stargate open out of herO. This tells us that herO will expand. He is not going for an all-in. As herO should cancel. There's like... cancels the Cybercore, throws out the pylon. Again, just laying for as long as possible here. Ooh, that was a kill. That should not have happened. That was a kill, not a cancel. 2 dead pylons, and now Classic expands. And suddenly that was a bigger investment for herO. Behind this going for his own base. Classic likewise also going for the Stargate. Now because both players have opened Stargate, then there's a much higher chance that both players are going to be opening up Phoenixes. Now Classic, he is aware of the Stargate of his opponent, so he can start Phoenixes. herO, he is just now scouting. Actually, he fails the scout. He's not fully aware. It is common to open up Stargate in this position, to go for the Gate, Cybercore, Stargate, so herO, he could try to read this without seeing it. For now though, Oracle first. Ooh, into Twilight Council. Okay, no Phoenix Wars. No Phoenix Wars, Hallucination is moving out. Hallucination will confirm the fact that there is no Phoenix production, and that there is a Twilight Council. We go. As herO, he's now aware of the Stargate. Both players switching into Twilight Council, both players switching into Blink. Phoenix is on patrol. Oracle looking for a way in. Phoenix does confirm Blink. Oracle into the main base. Gets 1, gets 2 probes. Gets up to 3, not bad. Decent damage as the Phoenix should be racing back to hunt this down. And again, both players are getting into Blink Stalkers. Here's a recall. herO's in position. Oh. Thankfully for Classic, no Blink. Does get away. And the game will calm down. From here, we're expanding. herO's taking a 3rd base. Even though we're working towards Blink, we only have 2 gateways, so we have a very low gateway count going for the Forge. herO's building up towards the mid game. From the side of Classic, likewise, he does turn on a 3rd gateway, which is, a 4th gateway. He's much more committed. 4-gate Blink out of Classic. So again, herO only on 2 gateways, then he goes for the Forge, upgrades, and takes a 3rd base for the economy. So herO, he's taking up and working towards the mid game. Classic, he's doubling down, and he's building up a terrifying army. So Classic is going to be the aggressor, and we'll see if herO can survive. Third base has been thrown down. We're still waiting for Blink. Blink is still on the way. We're getting there. herO just now throwing down his gateways. Classic reinforcing. And we're waiting for the push. We're almost there. Blue Nation gets eyes on the third. herO, his already getting saturated. The longer this goes on, the better it's going to be for herO. Remember, herO, he has the better economy. He has the faster base count, the higher probe counts, and +1. Here we go. Classic, he has to push. Now, checking the army supplies here, Classic, he is up in Stalkers. He has 5 more Stalkers than his opponents. He, of course, has the Sentries. He has Force Fields. He has Guardian Shield. Oh, does spot the Stasis Trap. Nicely done. A blinks in, takes out a Stalker. Denies the Stasis. Does he spot the other? Hard to say. But he's pushing in. Yeah, nice bait. Very nice bait. Oh my god, blinks in. Gets caught out. And the boys are being pulled. The boys are being pulled. Classic, he does not have enough. He's going to be forced back. Here he holds, he defends. Again, very nice stasis. Honestly, if it wasn't for the stasis trap, I think Classic would have broken him. Would have broken him here and now. But here he's holding. Stasis trap does run out. But herO has enough. He has enough. He does punish. And behind this herO, he's snowballing out of control. Remember, he still maintains a better economy. +1 is about to kick in. Like, that was the timing that Classic had to break herO, and he missed it. He missed his timing. Now we have +2 starting as +1 begins for Classic. So massive upgrade lead for herO. Immortal has arrived. herO claiming a 4th base, getting further ahead. And charge is already complete. So the one thing that herO is missing here is to throw down the Templar Archives, work towards Archons as well, refine his army, and then push out. Meanwhile, for Classic, there's still a lot of pressure on Classic here to try to get some kind of counter damage, whether it's a Zealot run by, a Prism drop into the main, Stalker counterattack with Blink, something. Staying home and defending and trying to build up from here, it's not going to be enough. You need something more. So far. Here he's moving out. Again, he does have the supply advantage. He's going to be hitting with +2. +2 is almost done. So up in upgrades, up in supply, up in army. Again, the one thing he's missing there, I was going to say, one thing he's missing is Archons. It's got him as well. The Archons morph in. And here he should overwhelm. Yeah, dives on the army, takes down a High Templar, blinks on forward. Archons are lagging a little bit behind. But they're getting in there. Yeah, they're getting in there. They overwhelm. And with that, herO, he's here to make a series out of this. Takes down the Archons, takes down all the Stalkers. Again, just outscaling Classic. And GG gets called. herO, he takes game number 2. We tie things up. We are going to the ace match. GG. Going all the way to game 3. Again, herO, he got away with quite a lot of greed. We saw that Classic, he threw down extra gateways. Classic, he was the aggressor, but he did miss his timing. As I mentioned before, though, I do feel like if it wasn't for the safe trap, Classic may have broken herO then and there at the third. It was a really crucial timing for Classic when he pushed across the map. It was really sick bait on the first stasis, but he blinked into the second stasis. And that was what, 4 or 5 Stalkers getting caught out. And in that moment, he lost the momentum. He lost the army lead. He lost the game. Did lose the game. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 3, and we'll see who claims it from here as we're loading into Maganatha. Ooh, the largest map in the map pool. Larger map, longer rush distance by ground, but also a lot of places to proxy. Let's go. let us go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss tying up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. We'll see if he can take it all the way. Representing Twisted Minds, it is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss player himself, representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. So we are settling in. Do have our gateways on the way. Probes are moving out, and they will pass by each other. Do pass by. Go. Do pass by. Going for the scouts. What's a proxy? A proxy is when you throw down your production buildings or even your tech outside of your main base at a otherwise proxy location, at an alternate location closer to your opponent, to be able to go into a rush, to be able to either high tech or to rush across the map and try to catch your opponent off guard. But so far, our players, they do scout each other. Do scout. Are dipping in. Our second pylon has been placed in the main, so we have our two pylons in the main base. There's nothing hidden. There is no shenanigans going on, and both players confirm this. Okay, so far so standard. Second pylons have been placed, which means both players, I mean, we do have the faster nexus from Classic, does throw it down in time. Here he was a little bit too late here to pylon block, so faster setup here from Classic, gate, cyber expand, and meanwhile herO to gate opener. Now herO, he will have the option to react with an all-in, with a proxy, or with a pylon. Speaking of, eyes are on this probe. Here he turned back for a moment, but here we go. It is going to be a Stargate back at home. So he does throw it down at home instead. This is a much more tame response. So 2 gate opener, Stargate, herO, he will expand. He will expand from here. With the Stargate, he's going to be going for the Oracle. The purpose here of the Oracle of the Stargate is to deal some economic damage to make up for the fact that herO has a later base. So later expansion for herO, faster nexus for Classic. Because his base is faster, he will have more probes, and that's where the pressure's on herO to get some economic damage done. He's moving out with the moving out with the Adepts, moving out with the Oracle as well. Here we go. So again, the pressure is on herO. herO's moving in. Classic, he's in position. Does fully wall. Does wall in the main. Does move his probes away. Hallucination is still moving out. And the goal here for Classic is to scout the main base, to get eyes on the tech. What exactly is going on. And he will. It gets into main, he spots the Stargate, he spots the Oracle. He knows. Adepts, they get one probe. They get one, they get 2 probes. And we might get a third. Very nice force fields, locks down the Adepts. We'll shut them down. At the same time, the Oracle is busting into the main. He's making his way in. Shield battery is not yet done, and probes are going to go down. Yeah, 3, getting up to 4. Not quite 5. Force to recall. And here he gets out. Behind this, here he's still down in workers. You can see here, even though herO just killed 4 workers, you can see how far ahead economically Classic has been. He's still by 2. Still by 3 even. Still by 3 probes. Classic still maintains a worker lead. What we saw was some decent damage out of herO, but still not good enough. Here he still needs more. At the same time, working towards Blink. Meanwhile, Classic getting into a Robo instead. Now, with a Robo follow-up here, this will lead into early game Immortal production, and this typically means that Classic is going to be the defender. As he takes a third. Yeah, he's just rushing into a third base, going for the Robo. He is going to be taking a more defensive role. And the pressure is going to be on herO to counterattack, to punish. Here he scouts a third base, he responds with his own. Again, it's going to be a later third for herO. With earlier Blink, he will have map control, he'll have a more mobile and versatile army. He's pushing. He has to. Like, here he has to do something across the map. He's moving out. Ideally, he can maybe force a cancel or threaten the third. Setting up the stasis. Immortal production has begun. And with Immortals in a head-on fight, I do favor Classic. The power that herO has is the ability to maybe even bypass the army and go into the main. Oh, as he gets caught out. Yeah, brutal force fields, losing a Stalker, losing a Sentry. Oof. Phoenix goes down. And so far, Classic looking solid. Just buying enough time. The Immortal has arrived. He's got the Immortal. He's got 2 shield batteries. Classic, he's holding. And no third. Oh, I just assumed there would be. But here he does not expand. Instead, we have more gateways on the way. Stays into the main, into the natural, catching 3 probes. Behind this, how many gates? So far, we have 2 gateways and a proxy third gate. herO is forcing himself all in. Does blink into the main. Blinks in. Ooh, stasis goes off. Yeah, brutal Sim City. The Immortal's trying to keep up. Blinks into the low ground. And does catch a couple of workers. Oof. The Oracle does fall in again in a head-on fight. He cannot take it. Stalkers are going down, and here he needs more than this. Losing another Stalker and another. Down to 3. At the same time, he does reinforce, pushing towards a third. And here is all in. Here he's completely all in at this point, going for a proxy 4th gateway. So 2 base 4 gate all in. Takes down the shield batteries. Immortals are so slow. They're so slow. Trying to keep up. So far, he does so no way. Like, as we mentioned, like, a Classic in a head-on fight, he will be able to overpower. Going for the dive, takes down 1 Immortal, takes 3 volleys. Takes a lot of shots. Once again, here he has to avoid the Immortals. Does head for the natural. Oh, doesn't quite go for it. Doesn't commit. Behind this, now he expands. A late third base for herO. Oh god. Very late third. herO pulling Classic apart. Gets into the mineral lines. Okay. Takes down 2 workers. Nice movement by herO. Does 9 mining at the third. Shading once again. Stalkers coming in from behind. Catching out a Stalker. Again, herO just pulling Classic apart. Once again, he shades in. Once again, more probe kills. Yeah, 4 or 5 workers. herO does not catch an Immortal. The Immortals catch herO. And this has been some decent damage, but my concern here is the eventual counterattack. The Classic is still mining more efficiently. Classic is building up to 4 Immortals. And Charge only just now began. Charge is just now starting. Eventually, Classic's going to counterattack, and it's going to hit quite hard. Again, it's on herO to catch a stray Immortal. So pick up some key units. Gets a Stalker. Picks up a Stalker, rotates once again, getting his own third base up and running. That is a 5th Immortal on the way, by the way. It's going to be 5 Immortals. It's crazy. And again, how do you counter Immortals? Typically with charge slots. Like Zelsa will do a great job tanking Immortal shots and close the distance. That's because here by herO. Oh, he does get punished. As here he rotates once again. You can just see how active he's being here. Just non-stop counterattacks. Trying to keep Classic busy. And buying time for charge. Now, as hero's taking into charge, Classic has the option. Oh, it looks like we have some inefficient mining. Here comes the 5th Immortal. But it's going to be on Classic to take up in towards Archons. I believe he does not have a Templar Archives. Yeah, no Archives, no Archon production, no charge either. Just purely Stalker Immortal. Oh, going into Glaives instead. Okay, I mean, that's an alternate route here. An alternate answer to the Zealots. Either Archons or, I mean, Glaive Adepts. Can also work. It doesn't really scale too well into a longer game, but has its place in PvP. As they'll take it across the map. They're forcing Classic back home. They force defensive Adepts. As more Adepts are warping in. And as Classic is distracted by these Zealots, herO, he does go for the counterattack himself. Does hit the third. And Classic completely out of position. Uh-oh. Third base is going to go down. Massive pickup. Classic racing back home. A little bit indecisive. Where are we going? What's the plan? Okay, Adepts stay defending against the Zealots. The rest of the army does respond. Third base went down. Chasing back herO, and again a really nice pickoff, but he's forcing the all-in. At this point, he's forcing Classic's hand. And Classic still has a terrifying army. herO trying to kite back. Ooh, almost loses one of the Immortals. And again, herO, he cannot fight this head on. It's a crazy death blow of an army. Immortal goes down. And herO is pinned back. He's pinned back here. Here come more Adepts. Again, Zealots, they're not quite built for this. There's no Archons. Yeah, there's no Archons to work with. Zealots are getting pulled back. Zealots, they melt here against the Glaive Adepts. Boys are being pulled. Stalker's going to be going down as well. And Classic, he should overwhelm. Yeah, with 5 with 5 Immortals, there's not much to stop him. As he's pushing into the natural, his army's being split up. Okay. His army's being fragmented. As he has to consolidate his forces, pushing in towards the third, it takes out the Stalkers, shuts down the shield batteries. herO coming from behind, nice control. Saves the Immortals down to 4. 4 more left, the Prism. Oh god, oh, does go down. Nice denial. A nice pick up, but it doesn't, oh, it may not matter. It's still quite close. Ah, he has too much. Yeah, Classic, he has too much. He still will overwhelm. Takes out the Stalkers, takes out the Immortal, even without the Warp Prism. 30 probe kills. And Classic, he does it. And here, he had some nice moves. He had some nice moves, counter-attacking, sniping the third base. Did well for himself, but he could never fight head-on. Like, he could never deal with the main army. That was the problem. Eventually, he poked the bear. He poked Classic. And Classic, he didn't stop. He just came at him. It's crazy. The final boys are being pulled, and Classic, he breaks through. He breaks through that defensive line, takes out 18 more probes. There's barely anything left here for herO. Barely anything remaining. Adepts, they bust into the main. He breaks the third. Yo, we got the boy. Probe attacking at the fourth base. GG gets called, and Classic, he will claim the series at 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. A very chaotic final game here, very back and forth. They both had their own moments here. Classic initially went for a greedier start. herO, he was eventually, it took a long time, eventually was able to recover economically. He was harassing his heart out with Adepts, with Oracles, with his own Blink Stalkers. Initially he failed to break the third, but he was able to pull Classic apart. Again, the downside of Classic's build, of Classic's composition, was his immobility, right? Going into initially Mass Immortal, he had a very slow moving army, and he had a really hard time keeping up with herO. As a result, herO eventually even broke the third. But as we were trying to bring up, when it came to the main fights, like, we had 5 Immortals, we had an insane Immortal count, we had Mass Adepts as well. herO could not stop at Classic. herO unfortunately never teched up into Archons. Winding it back, when it came to how the armies were clashing with each other, herO going into Mass Charge Lot would work well against Mass Immortal Stalker, but against Adepts, that's where you do need Archons. That's where you do need something more robust. You do need splash damage yourself to keep up with that. GG. GG, well played with that. We do have our first finalist. Classic does advance on, and we're going to be going on a short break here. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we will have a TVZ between Bjorn and Reynor. Let's go. Again, for those who are curious, Reynor, he's currently in South Korea. Reynor and Clem, they're both in Korea right now. They're both practicing, they're both laddering, they're both training and getting ready for the EWC, which means they can play in tournaments like this. They can play in tournaments like this. They can compete in the KSL. Oh boy. So yes, we're going to be going on a very short break. When we come back, bam, we will have our next semis. See you soon. See you soon after the break. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OC as we have returned with the Korean StarCraft League week number 77, your bi-weekly dose of Korean StarCraft. Here we go. Speaking of Korean StarCraft, we have a non-Korean here ready for us. It's going to be a ZVT between Reynor and Byun. Again, just to reiterate, Reynor, he is currently in South Korea. Reynor alongside Clem, alongside Trigger, they've all traveled to South Korea in preparation for the EWC. Esports World Cup is in it's in less than a month. it's in a couple of weeks, pap. Yeah. So EWC is right around the corner and they are preparing for the Esports World Cup. It also means that they can compete in events like this. KSL is not region locked by any means, but it is at a really rough time for the for the Europeans, time zone wise. Just a really rough time slot. So here, now that Reynor and Clem are in South Korea, they can compete in the KSL at a more reasonable time. And Reynor, he's stepping into the ring here. This is going to be somewhat of a rematch. If you were here last night, if you were here for the Wardy TV Monday, I recommend the VODs. We had some spicy games, but Byun, he was the Foreigner Slayer. Byun, he took down Clem and he took down Reynor last night. It was crazy. Byun, he went on a tear, taking down both of them. And we'll see how Reynor fares against Byun this time. This time not on the Wardy TV Monday, but in a KSL instead. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Persephone. Oh, so we are jumping on it. We are jumping into our initial best of 3. As a reminder, Classic is waiting for the winner of the series in the grand finals. Waiting for the winner of spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify. It is Byun. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the Italian Zerg, representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. ZVT is upon us. And when it came to Reynor's play last night, we were featuring Reynor quite a lot in ZVT, and something that he was doing time and time again, he was playing very heavy Ling into Ultra. He was playing Ling into Ultra, as opposed to the more standard variation that we've seen from players like Shin, for example, which is Roach Ravager into Infestor into Ultra. Instead, we had Ling Infestor Ultra out of Reynor, and Byun did punish him. Byun, he did punish him quite heavily, time and time again. We had some very aggressive builds by Byun once he realized what Reynor was up to. We'll see if Reynor was also embracing that style here in the KSL as well. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Reynor. And again, we're expecting likewise Ling into Ultra Tech. When I say Ling into Ultra, I do mean it as well, in the sense that no Bailings, no Bailing Nest, no Bailing production either. Reynor, he was cutting a lot of corners to be greedy and to rush into Hive as quickly as possible. And again, we'll see if he does that style here during the KSL as well. Bearing in mind that the KSL was a couple of days before the Wardy TV Monday. For now though, standard openers all around. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Not yet. So we are poking in. It's important to note that Byun is not going to Rax Reaper. Byun, he does enjoy mixing that in, and we saw that quite a lot last night actually. A lot of 2x Reaper out of Byun. This time Rax Expand into Factory. From here we can go into a Starport and commit into a 1-1-1, or we can go into a third TC, into a Starport, into a more economic build. Reaper does move out. Reaper does poke in. And we'll trade with the Zerglings. I shouldn't get much more done though, as the drones are under fire. Zerglings, one of them does go down. We'll sway the drone in time, and the Queen will pop and will defend. Last Reynor doesn't lose anything, just one Zergling. Does hold. Back at home, third TC before Starport. Standard economic follow-up here out of Byun. Nothing crazy. It's going into his third. Likewise, so is Reynor. Also going for his third base. Now from here, at around the 430 mark, we're going to be looking for either a faster lair or faster Eva chambers for double upgrades. I believe, if I recall correctly, Reynor did go for Eva chambers first before lair to get into a faster 1-1. then into the lair, then into Infestation Pit. As Beyond does poke in, takes down the tumor, not bad. Takes down the tumor, pulls away. And Beyond back at home, going for the Atom Swap into Cloak Banshee. Okay. So just stock standard play here by Beyond, 3 CC Banshee. From here he can choose to invest into Cloak or not. As the Hellions are being active. Reynor still joining up. We also didn't get to mention, but welcome, one and all to Persephone. True, Persephone is one of the, I would say, shorter maps of the map pool, smaller map, shorter rushes by ground, more aggressive map as well. Here come the Evo Chamber before lair. I would say that on this map it is relatively easy to secure your own 4 base setup. The 5th base is a little bit more exposed, but your 4 bases are relatively secure. And we can, as a result, end up in a longer game state. Assuming that Beyond doesn't 8 racks. As the Hellion is started down. Behind this, the Banshee staying back at home, working towards Stim, no Cloak. And it is just going to be +1 at Carapace, which means we're expecting a lair into a second Evo Chamber and leading towards a lack of Baneling Nest. Lack of Banelings. But now Reynor is droning. He's now pulling back into gas. Saturating his bases. Ling does slip in, gets a full scout. And that shouldn't have happened. Nice pick up there from Reynor. Hellions a attempt to poke in. And there it is, lair is on the way. So 5:20 lair timing, gases are being taken. We should soon be seeing that second Evo Chamber. And from there we can go into the Infestation Pit. Oh boy. So I was curious to see if Reynor was also going for the same style during the KSL, and the answer is yes. That's the answer. Here comes the Evo Chamber. And this would have been in a time where potentially Beyond was a little bit less familiar with the style. As again, he was looking very dominant against it during last night, during the Woods TV Monday. Beyond behind this, he's still on his own 3-rack setup. 4th and 5th racks are on the way. Nothing crazy yet. Revealed to the Overlord. Oh, okay, we do have a safety Baneling Nest. Baneling Nest has been thrown down. So Reynor embracing Ling Bane is taking his gases, but we'll see where he goes from here. Does he play more standard? Does he get into a Hydra Den? Or does he throw down the Infestation Pit? Show us what you got. But again, just really late Banelings and really late Baneling speed from Reynor. But he's still getting it. Let's go. Now still droning, still saturating. Beyond now moving out. This is still on just 5 Raxes. Baneling speed is on the way. Okay, so Reynor, he's playing standard. He's not going for what we saw last night. He's playing standard, playing Ling Bane. He's not rushing into Hive. This base is under fire, and it will not be cancelled. Yeah, it doesn't cancel. We have a massive Ling counterattack instead. This hatchery is going to go down. Back at home, do we have enough to defend? There's a handful of units here. There's Banshees, there's a tank. Lings A flood in, the wall is open. Yeah, the wall's not a wall. Lings A bust into the natural, they bust into the main. Boys are being pulled. And SCVs are going to be going down. Beyond kills the expansion, but back at home he will bleed out. Not that many SCVs, okay. Only 2. Oh. I spoke too soon. 4, 5, up to 6 SCV kills. 6 SCVs going down, but Beyond holds. He does hold on. He was distracted. Beyond pushing towards the main. Behind this, Reynor massing up his own Ling Bane. +2 is almost done. 6 are dealt with. Once again, going for another counterattack. There's plenty of Ling Bane back at home. Oh, catches a tank. Nice catch. It takes down the tank. Does commit here into the reinforcements. Bailey's rolling in towards the mineral line. He's going for the SCVs. Byun, he does pull away. It does pull away. Bailey's, they don't quite connect. At the same time, though, Reynor's keeping up with the main army. At least trying to. Byun going for the spawning pool. Oh, can he get it? Oh, he can. Yeah, one more shot. Oh, no, oh, barely does not. Never mind. 25 HP. The pool was so low. It was so low, Pappy. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, Reynor, he even has a backup spawning pool on the way just in case. He was ready for it to go down. And Byun, he has been A-Raxing. Yeah, no gases. So 3 base all in out of Byun. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor. Byun is completely all in. That's just rallying everything across the map. Reynor once again going for another counterattack. Trying to force Byun back home, or even just finding more damage. The wall is still open. Tank is exposed. Lings, they peel off into both bases. Byun at the same time pushing in. There's plenty of Ling Bane though. Oh god. Oh, Bailey's, they just crashed in. At the same time, 22 SCV kills. Oh no, 2-2. 2-2 is going to be denied. He denies at least +2 armor, and GG gets called. Reynor here overwhelms, and Reynor takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played, Reynor. He does take a lead in the series. Again, a very intense game here. Byun, he did go for the 8 racks. I will say that Byun, he was, I will say, quite passive in the early game. He was very passive with his Hellions, and if you recall, he kept his Banshees at home as well, so it was very, very passive. As a result, Reynor, he got away with quite a lot of greed. I was pointing out at the time that I had assumed that Reynor, he was going to go Ling into Hive Tech, just because he had delayed his Baneliness so much, and because he had delayed his Baneliness so much, he was vulnerable to early game aggression, to early pushes, but there was nothing coming out from Byun. Byun was, again, a lot more passive, a lot more tentative when it came to his play at the beginning of Persephone, and Reynor, he got away with the late nest, with the late bailing speed, with the late bailing setup here. Instead of relying a little more heavily on links early on, he got away with it, and with that, GG, well played. I also want to give props to Reynor with his counterattacks. It can be quite difficult dealing with these 8 Raxes in a head-on fight, so he just never went for it. He rarely engaged head-on, and mainly just went for non-stop counterattacks instead, punishing the fact that Byun was so committed to his aggression that he didn't really have much at home to defend. GG, well played. With that, Reynor does take a lead, and now we're jumping into game number 2. Going to be on Ultra Love, one of the smaller maps of the map pool. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Byun. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. And yo, shout out to Ernie and Ak in the chat. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Wish I could play like this. I just started playing. Oh, welcome. Welcome to StarCraft. Welcome, happy welcome. Always nice to hear when some people first get into the game. It can be quite daunting, for sure. It can be quite daunting and quite exciting as well. So best of luck in your endeavors. It's not an easy game to get into, but very competitive and does scratch that competitive itch as well, especially if you're into that kind of setup. If you're motivated by that as well, for sure. Best of luck on the ladder. Tat, is Reynor in Korea? Yes. Yes, as we were saying earlier, Reynor, Clem, and Trigger, they're all in Korea. They're all in Korea. They're all practicing, getting ready. That's one of the reasons why Reynor and Clem were not at Home Story Cup, as they were in South Korea, or they still are, I should say. As we have a rack expand economic opener here out of Byun, likewise hatch gas pool out of Reynor. And welcome one and all to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is one of the smaller maps in the map pool, much smaller map. Shorter rush distance by ground. And we do often see a lot of aggressive builds on this map. If Byun were to go for something like an 8 racks, I mean, I wouldn't be too opposed to it on Ultra Love, but I am opposed to seeing it 2 games in a row. Right, we saw it already in game 1. I would like to see something a little bit different here out of Byun. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. But now does poke in. Does poke in. Does dance with the army. Shouldn't get a drone kill. Nice sport trick. Saves one. Saves the other just in time. Whew. Slick moves there by Reynor. Saves his workers. Does pull away. And Reynor does defend. Here we go. These are two of the best players in the world. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, Reynor and Byun, they're definitely at, like, the top of their respective races. For sure. That's now settling in. For now, we're just getting to our third base. Again, just so far, a standard opener here out of Reynor, joining up from the side of Byun. Once again, third CC before Starport. We do have an economic setup as well. Last game, we did have an add-on swap in towards a Banshee play without Cloak. This time, delayed Starport rushing into early stim. Oh my god. Byun being a little more aggressive this time with an earlier stim timing. We're expecting a second Rax before the Starport. This does look like the beginning of a 3CC 2-on-1. Yeah, there it is. Oh, geez. Okay. I assume 3CC 2-on-1. This is a 3 racks follow-up. Much more aggressive, much more committed here by Byun. Basically, what's occurring here is we have a big delay in the Starport. The Starport is heavily delayed, which means we're going to be delaying medevac production for a much longer time, instead fixating and prioritizing stim, combat shields, and marine production. So we're building up a heavy bio army. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. This will hit quite hard, but the downside is it hits later, and this will give Reynor more time to drone. If Reynor recognizes how delayed this is going to be, how much later this is going to be, then Reynor can drone up a little bit harder. He can take a faster 4th base and be greedier. And he can try to get away with that greed. Ling does poke in, and he sees everything. He does confirm the 3 racks. He does confirm the lack of Starport. He knows. And we're joining. From here, we're joining on up. We have the +1 carapace on the way. Reynor, he could even afford a faster 2nd Evo chamber for 1-1 upgrades. Reynor taking his 4th. Oh, movie delayed. Nice delay here by Byun. And again, Reynor is just droning. Like, there's no reason to make Lings right now. Just droning, just saturating. And this is all thanks to the fact that Reynor, he scouted. He scouted. He knows how safe he is. So really crucial scout there by Reynor. Now taking his gases, or I mean, will soon be. There we go, gases are now on the way. Lair is in production. Ooh, nice surround. Catching out the Hellions. Now, when it comes to Reynor setup here, it's also important to know when to stop droning. Fully saturating on 3 bases and taking a 4th base, I think from there is going to be enough. So we can drone up to, I would say at most 70, maybe 73 drones as we're getting ready for the eventual push. Medevacs are on the way. Byun, he will soon move out. Still building up. He's still waiting for the medevacs, as medevacs are almost halfway done. We can see Reynor joining up a little bit further. He is joining up to around 71. I think this is still like within like acceptable range. Oh, he's joining. He's being a little bit greedier here. Ay. Okay, he's joining all the way up to 75. Bearing in mind that he has no Baneling Nest. Remember that. Only 1-1 upgrades. Only Ling Queen. Ling Queen to defend. Drop is moving out. But Reynor, he has drawn up so hard. Droning up to 78. Going for the queens. Clutch chance used, one queen goes down. But the queens, they do hold. Queens, they hold their own. And Reynor, he's gotten away with so much. And again, as a reminder, the reason for this was the scout earlier. 5th base is now on the way, Hive is in production, and this is what we assumed that Reynor was going for in the game 1. If you remember, game 1, I was talking quite heavily about going into Ling, into Hive Tech, into Ultras with Infestor support by skipping Banelings. We assumed that would be the case in game 1. We're seeing it here in game 2. Again, no Baneliness, no Baneling speed, purely Ling, Queen, Infestor, Ultra. And it's going to be up to Reynor to survive that long. Ling's gonna for this round. Oof, brutal connections. Oh my god. The mind shots were insane. Lings are being punished and Biani's pushing in. Nice fungal. Very clutch fungal. Is it gonna be enough though? Has Bian, he's gonna be deterred. Again, that fungal was brutal. Bian does back up. Again, Bian did outtrade. You can see here 72 Zerglings for 12 Marines. That was insane efficiency out of Bian. But alas, the fungals, the infestors, they do scare him, they do force him to back up. Reynor is buying more time, and again, he's trying to buy time for the Hive for the Ultras. Reynor is almost there. Biani, he has to break through. So he's stimming in. Oof. Fungal goes off. Ling's lapsing in. We have the chain fungal as well. And Lings looks like they have barely enough. They take down the first wave of Marines. Even forcing some friendly fire. Does force friendly fire. Ling counterattack as well. Trying to distract. Bian still pushing forward. It's still a very clutch hold. Ultra Cavern is almost done. Reynor, he's almost there. He's almost at the Ultras. Oof. The Watcher goes off. Likewise, more Widow Mines are about to reset. But Biani's running out of steam, running out of momentum. Is he 8-raxing? He is, yeah, okay. he is 8-raxing. So Biani's 3-base all in. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for Bian. Just like last game. He got there in a different way, for sure. 2-2 is about to kick in. Going for a split push. Dropping on the left, pushing on the right. Ultra production has begun. Again, Reynor, he's made it. He's there. These things are collapsing in. We're holding onto that fungal. Does connect. Fungal goes off. Chain fungal as well, forcing friendly fire. And Reynor, he survives. He holds, and the Ultras, they're a couple of seconds away. Kindness plating as well. Reynor needs a little bit more time. He breaks the expansion. Likewise, Reynor just counterattacking. He avoids the main army. Does go for the runby. Back at home, there are some reinforcements. Ultra's pushing in. Oof. Once again, a brutal fungal. And Ultras, they do clean up. At the same time, Lings, they catch reinforcements. Looks like there was a decent mine shot, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, GG gets called. Biani runs out of steam, and Reynor, he will claim the series 2-0. Taking down Bian and advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very intense game here. Bian, he once again was going for an 8-rax. He went there in a different way, but what's important here about game number 2 is that Reynor, he was able to scout Bian early on. He saw how, I should say, tech heavy and how delayed, that's maybe a better way of putting it. He saw how delayed Bian's push was going to be, and Reynor, he took full advantage of Bian. Reynor, he droned up to 80. He was so greedy. I thought it was going to cut workers at like 72, 73. He droned up to 79 instead. Took a 5th base all before the first push of Bian. He was so greedy, he did get away with it. It was still a very shaky hold because of that greed. We saw, remember, the initial trade was it 72 Lings for 12 Marines. It was insane efficiency out of Bian, but barely still was not enough. GG well played. Reynor did get away with it, and we do see that Reynor, he was able to initially take the series during the KSL. Again, last night we saw Beyond get his revenge, able to have a better response against our style, but really cool to see kind of the origins of that over the weekend during KSL. GG. GG, well played with that. Reynor, he does advance on to the grand finals and is going to be facing off against who? Against Classic. Against Classic in that best of 5. Whew, let's go. We're getting ready here for that best of 5 series. Un momento. Beautiful. And again, Classic, he just took down herO earlier in the semifinals. They would bring him down 2-1, went all the way to the ace match. Here, I'm hoping for a back and forth as we have Reynor and Classic facing off in that best of 5. And I believe this is the first time that herO is not going to be able to win a KSL. herO, he has a 100% win rate in the Korean StarCraft League. The only times that herO hasn't won a KSL this year is when he hasn't signed up for one, but this week is the first exception to that. Instead, herO, he got knocked down in the semifinals, and we have a different pairing, a different matchup in the finals. Let's go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. As again, Classic, he is a very aggressive I say very aggressive. Classic, he is an interesting player to follow here. I would say that he's less dynamic and less aggressive than herO, for example. herO can be a lot more chaotic in ZVP. Classic, he's a lot more willing to be defensive and to embrace SkyToss, for example. In a lot of matchups, actually, in PvT and PvZ, if he's given the opportunity, he will go into the late game. I mean, we've seen that time and time again. More recently, we saw that at DreamHack Dallas, true, where he was able to take herO to the late game. And again, Classic, he's very fond of that. Like, if he sees an opportunity, he will just throw down a Stargate, throw down a Fleet Beacon, and tech into SkyToss. At the same time, along those lines, he's also a lot more aggressive as well. Last night, if you were here for it, we did cast Classic versus Shin, and we saw a lot of Glaive Adepts. We saw a lot of Glaive Adepts out of Classic, able to punish and shut down Shin time and time again. Likewise, we also saw some more defensive play mixed in as well. We'll keep an eye on the build of choice for Classic to get a read on what he does get into. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, Standard Opener out of Reynor. And we should be seeing a Stargate out of Classic. Yep, Pylon gets thrown down. The Pylon does scream Stargate play. Typically, if the goal is to hide the tech, is to go for a Twilight Council or a Robo-based opener, the Pylon will be thrown down a little bit further back behind the bases, behind the mineral lines. Based on its location, does speak more like a Stargate, just to reduce the time it takes to get across the map. The Overlord does poke in, gets eyes on the natural. Stargate has been thrown down, opening up Oracle, Standard Opener. Standard Opener out of Classic. Meanwhile, we'll see if Reynor, we'll see how he does approach this. Now, when it comes to Reynor and Glaive Adepts, I'm bringing this up just because Classic did Glaive Adept the hell out of Shin last night, and also because Showtime also Glaive Adepted the hell out of Reynor during the EWC European qualifiers. If you weren't here for it, we did cast it on the channel. We were able to cover all the regionals, of course, when it comes to EWC, and Showtime was having a very strong performance against Reynor when it came to those cheeky builds, when it came to the hidden Glaive Adepts. Reynor had a really hard time keeping up, a really hard time scouting and shutting it down. So we'll see if we try to replicate that or if we take a different approach. For now, Reynor does expand away from Classic. Important to bear that in mind. So he's not going to be racing creep across the map. So Classic does poke in. And doesn't get much done. Does shade away. Will shade away, racing back home to defend his third. Speaking of, Reynor moves out to threaten the third base of Classic. Is spotted. Adepts, I do shade. Actually shading into the natural. Oh my god. Does shade in. And he's going for the mineral line. Gets 2 drone kills, 3 drones going to be going down and getting up to 4. Not bad. 4 workers do full. The Oracle does pull out, does pull away. Now, because the 2 adepts just went down, that means there are no adepts to defend back at home, so there is an opening here. There's an opening here for Reynor. Reynor does hit the 3rd. But the 2nd Oracle arrives just in time. And Classic defends. Classic, he defends. He shuts down the Zerglings. 3rd Oracle is on the way. And we're looking for the Twilight Council. We're looking for the tech of choice. Things they collapse in. They get a surround. They don't quite get the adept. Back at home, faster Evo Chamber out of Reynor. This does scream plus on melee into Ling Hydra. Reynor, he's skipping roaches. At least it looks to be the case. And that is going to be a bit of a later Twilight Council out of Classic. We're expecting a Forge. We'll keep an eye on him. As I mentioned, there's that melee upgrade. Again, early Evo Chamber typically leads into plus on melee, and the goal there is to rely on Lings and to skip out on roaches. To rush and be a little bit more efficient, to rush into Hydra Tech. Oracle takes a lot of hits, does get 2 drones. 3 drones even. Before pulling away. Oh my god. The Oracles are very low. We do have a Forge. It's going to be a delayed Forge here by Classic, but with a Forge, we should be working towards plus on and Blink. Should be. Oh! As the Oracle takes a lot of hits, and does go down. Nice pick up. Takes down the Oracle. Blink is on the way. Standard follow-up here by Classic. He's moving in. Classic does shade into the bases. Lings are having a hard time keeping up. Yeah, brutal positioning here. Lings are going down. Drones have to pull away. At the same time, Classic does move in. Looking for the drones. Shades into the main. As Zerglings are being shut down. Oh. Nice denial here of the stasis. And a very nice denial. But Lings, they are falling. Again, really good positioning here from Classic. But it's being cleaned up. Yeah, it's finally cleaned up. We'll get 4 drone kills. Back at home, working towards Storm. Faster Temple Archives. Again, this is something that we saw quite a lot last night as well from Classic, is this faster Temple Archives, faster Storm. Basically, if Reynor was to go for a 3-base all-in, Storm would be ready to defend. Yeah, cannons are on the way. Pylons as well, soon to be more shield batteries. But Reynor is droning. Reynor is droning, getting a 4th base, and as we mentioned, going into Ling Hydra. Ling Hydra is amassing. We'll see if Reynor drones up his 4th. That's what I'm most curious by. It looks like he will. Meanwhile, Classic is just fully walling up. Getting the tower low, getting a 4th base. Reynor taking up into what? Extra gases, infestation bit, into lurker tech. So Reynor, he's not going for an all-in. He will be droning up his 4th base. He's taking up in towards the mid-game and towards a longer game as well. And if you recall something that we mentioned at the start of the game, if Classic reads that you're taking up, if he sees that the game is going to go on longer, then we're waiting for the Stargate, waiting for the Fleet Beacon. We'll see if Classic realizes what's going on, and we'll see if he does embrace Skytoss. But now he pokes out. Poke out, gaining ground. Hive is on the way for Reynor. Hive is in production. Classic is unaware. Classic also hasn't seen the 5th. He does spot the Hydras. But again, he hasn't seen the gases. He hasn't seen the 5th base. He hasn't seen the Hive. As the Hive is here at the natural. So Classic still has incomplete information. You can see he's getting ready to defend against a push, but there is no push coming. Not yet. Does have Storm, though. He's got 6 High Templar. That's a lot of Storm. Yeah, Prism is on the way. Classic, he's committing. Lings, they catch some reinforcements. Coming from behind, they try to. Nice punish at the Classic. Zones away the Zerglings. He baits out the stasis. Does bait him out. Storms on the Hydras. Nice spread by Reynor. Does avoid that splash damage. Still going to be zoned away. Still zoned away. And there it is. Yep. Sky Toss. As you mentioned, once Classic does get a whiff of what you're doing, once he sees that the game is going to go on longer, then he is more than happy to embrace Sky Toss. We get some decent storms. Warbin is on the way. Prism will survive. Another storm on the Hydras. Lurkers have arrived. And the Lurkers, they will hold the line. No detection. Classic, he does bypass the Lurkers. Just going straight across the map. Yeah, the Observer has arrived. He does have one more storm. The Prism is getting very low. And they should have a recall. From here, though, he backs up. Still does have one more storm. Going to just continue to warp in. And he finds stuff left. Yeah, it does find the expansion. Still buying some time. Oh, bit of miscontrol. And misclick there from Classic. Pulls away, going for the base. And Tempest production has begun. So far, just really a successful push here from Classic, able to outtrade his opponents, take down the expansion, deny creep, and tech up behind this. Throughout all of this, he's got a 4th base, he's ahead in economy. And Reynor's in a really rough position here. Again, ideally, the Zerg player wants to be up a base, not even on bases. They want to be up on workers, and likewise, still, I would say, behind. He's oversaturated, needs that other base, needs a 5th. And the Lurkers aren't a surprise. Tempest are revealed. Classic, he's getting out of hand. He's getting out of hand, he's getting out of control. Reynor, he has to make a choice. Nidus. Okay, he's going for the Nidus. Reynor is going to commit. At this point, he has to. Now, this is actually similar to what we saw between herO and Classic, where I would say that Classic has a stronger main army, and in a head-on fight, I favor Classic. But Reynor, he has a little more mobility on his side, especially with the Nidus Worm. He can counterattack, he can try to get into the main, he can try to get into the natural. He can buy time and bring down a base. If the armies clash, though, that's what I'm going to be concerned for Reynor. There's a Revelation. First Lurker goes down. The storm's popping up. Oh, God. Yeah, brutal storms. Yeah, at the same time, Reynor, he goes for the counterattack. He avoids the main fight. And again, Reynor, he cannot fight this head on. And he will bring down the expansion. There is a mothership. Mineral line goes down. Nice pick off here by Reynor. 10% coming from behind. Do we get a recall? We're going for the base trade. We're committing. Yeah, bases are going down. Classic takes down 2 expansions. Reynor pushing in, but they're a 10% defend. He cannot break the 3rd. And Classic is still gaining ground. He's pushing into the natural. He's going for the Nidus. Nidus is on the way, but the main Nidus is going to fall. And remember, Classic can always recall. He can always recall back home. He will snipe the Hive. A brutal pickup. And Reynor, he has to counterattack, but this counterattack is late. Tower gets knocked down. Storms are not going to be ideal, but there's nothing you can achieve. GG gets called. Classic overwhelms, and Classic takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Classic, he defends, he attacks as well. Again, as we mentioned, Reynor, he just had a really hard time getting into, or getting past the mid-game, I should say. Reynor, he was taking up towards Lurkers, but by the time he was, we already saw Tempest amassing here for Classic. Classic, he felt like he was one step ahead there of Reynor. GG. GG, well played. Classic takes the lead. Now we're jumping into game number 2. That's gonna be a struggle for a base trade. Yeah, it was just a really rough base trade there for Reynor. I mean, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. He couldn't defend back at home, so he had to counterattack, but even then, didn't have the most ideal army for a counterattack either. Was a rough position, and here we go. We're getting into our next game, getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Italian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Basilisk. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back. It is Reynor. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. here we go. Again, Classic was all over Reynor, able to be quite safe back at home, able to be assertive with his assertion, with his initial push. He was able to scout what was going on, able to get eyes on the lurkers. Was able to bully Reynor with his storms. And with that, he does take a lead. But now we're going to be loading into a much larger map. I should wind it back a little bit. Ultra Love was one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Here we load into one of the larger ones. So here it's going to be a little bit more difficult to really snowball out of control and assert a push and reinforce from there. Aggression is going to be a little bit less favorable here on Incorporeal. I mean, there's a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, the rush distance by ground is longer, that is true. On the other hand, I would say that these bases are more exposed. Your 3-base setup is pretty secure, but your 4th base is a lot more out in the open. It's further away. It's on the low ground. There's a greater angle of attack here. Likewise, the 5th base also further away as well. The bases are very spread out on Incorporeal. But we'll see how our players will approach this. For now, Hatch Gas Pool. I will say that Muta play can be quite successful in this map, so that's going to be an option here for Reynor if he wants to go into Mutas. Mutas are viable in ZVP, but they have to be hidden. Like, you're relying quite heavily on hiding the Spire and hiding the Muta switch and catching your opponent off guard. But now Stargate Opener out of Classic. Now we're opening up. Also, este sinistro back. Good to see you. Good to see you, as always. Hope you've been doing well. I know things are getting busy. Things are getting very busy. Hope you're taking care. Este sinistro. As for now, I'm going to be settling in. Adept does get eyes on the expansion. Stargate about to finish. Nothing crazy yet. Really, we're just keeping our eyes open here for the timing of the Twilight Council from the side of Classic. When he throws it down, where he throws it down. Likewise, we'll see if Reynor once again goes for the early Evo Chamber. We'll see if he once again goes into Ling Hydra. Adepts are poking in. Oracle's moving out. Classic, he hasn't committed yet. Waiting for his moment. Still holding on. Adepts say race back home. And the Spore is not yet done. Getting 1, getting 2 drones. Not bad. 2, 3. Oh, barely 3. But I'll stick around too long and will be punished for its Classic. Getting a little bit too cavalier there. Getting a little bit too greedy. And that was not worth it. Classic, he will lose the first Oracle. Ay, ay, ay. Better defense here from Reynor. Again, things initially were looking better for Classic, but he stuck around a little bit too long. Second Oracle moves out, gets 1 more drone. Oh. Has to respect the Spores. Oh, he gets a second. And a third. Okay. 3 drones going down. Twilight Council and Forge are on the way. This does look like +1 and Blink. Standard follow-up. Ooh, Reynor rushing into an earlier lair. Now, if you recall, last game we had an Evo Chamber before lair into +1 melee. This straight up lair instead. This could be a couple different things. If we go on a little bit longer without a single Evo Chamber, this could be for a Hydra based all-in, where you drone up to 66 and then you just go mass Ling Hydra. Evo Chamber now gets thrown down. Oh. And again, because this is more delayed, this could be +1 range instead of +1 melee. We could be rushing into range and rushing into a more Hydra heavy composition instead. So we'll keep an eye on Reynor, we'll see what he goes for. Lair is almost done. We do have the initial wave of adepts moving out. Again, that's going to be 6 adepts here for Classic. And Reynor, he is getting ready for it. Once again, Classic working towards Temple Archives. Shades in towards the natural. Lings are keeping up, and Lings, they get us around. Nice round here from Reynor. Shuts down the Adepts. Does bring them down. Oh, and we were assuming it was going to be Ling Hydra, but no, it is going to be straight up Spire play, which we did bring up at the start of the game. But again, Incorporeal, this is a map which is very good for Muta play, just because of how spread out the bases are. If this goes unscouted, it makes it even more difficult for the defending player to keep up with the Mutas. So far, so good. So far, unscouted. So we're going into Mutas. And we'll see if Classic can get a read on what's going on. But now, getting into Blink, getting into Storm. Oracles are being somewhat active. Does poke in, sees no research, +1 melee just now begins. As the Oracle Scout. He's setting up. Now, at the start of the game, we did mention how Muta play is a little bit more common on this map. I mean, if we can say that Classic, he can assume that as well. He does have cannons at the third, but the main base is exposed. No setup. Spire is done. And Muta production has begun. And remember, there's no Roachborn, there's no Hydrogen. It looks like mass Muta. Like, we're not just making Mutas to harass, we're going mass Muta. We're going to double down. Classic, he still doesn't know. Recovering from surgery. Oh my god. I didn't know that you were undergoing surgery, Pat. Yeah. Go with that, Papi. Go with that. Glad to hear you're doing well. Glad to hear. Take care, Papi. Take care. As Mutas are amassing. Ooh, it looks like they just got spotted. Yeah, cannons are on the way. Stargate as well. Yeah, Mutas that have been spotted. And Classic is preparing back at home. Catching out Zerglings. Cannons are building up. Mutas, they will hit the third. Lings, they went for the surround. They attempt to. Decent positioning here with the Stalkers. Does force a recall. Mutas, they hit the expansion. Probes, they do pull away in time. The reactions here from Classic. Does pull away. Storm is coming in. And Phoenixes are amassing as well. Oof. Yeah, brutal Storm. Does force an Archon, which is not bad against Ling Muta. Do you want those Archons regardless? Oof. Another Storm. Lings, they rotate towards the third. Mutas towards the fourth. And they take down the initial cannon. Not bad. They get us around on the Zealot as well. Muta's going to be poking in. Stalkers, they stand their ground. Phoenixes are building up as well. And that's a lot of Mutas falling. And that's going to be how many? That's going to be 12 Mutas going down. They get 11 probes, but that is not worth it. That's a lot of dead Mutas. And Reynor, he's still maxed out, and so far, I mean, he's at least containing Classic. True. He's containing. Classic, the army is split. Oof, gets a Storm. Does land the Storm, picking up more Mutas. It's one of those things where the supplies are... I mean, the soup does lie. True. The soup does lie. Where Reynor, he's almost maxed, but this is a very fragile army. A couple of Storms, and this army evaporates. 100%. Like, so again, like, the soup is... The supply is deceiving. Not really what it seems. Storms, they don't quite connect. High Templar goes down. Nice target firing. Brings down the Templar. Army's going to be turned away. Nice kiting here with the Phoenixes. There's going to be a lot of Mutas going down. Oof. 3, 4, 5 Mutas falling. Losing even more. And Reynor's just getting bullied back. Classic has to calm down. Yeah, pulls back with his ground army. Phoenix is there to overextend. But again, this is just giving Classic more breathing room as he's building up more Phoenixes and building up more High Templar. So again, even though Classic was down 80 supply earlier, you can see he's catching up. Now down 50. And he's slowly closing that gap. And I do favor Classic's army head-on, 100%. Like, with more storms, like, he will win a head-on fight. Reynor, he's splitting up. We have Lynx towards the left, Lynx in the center, and Mutas into the main. Reynor, he has to try to pull Classic apart. We have a couple of Corruptors. They built a tank. Stalkers, they do respond. At the same time, Lynx, they move in. Archon's in position. So far, Classic is holding. As Lynx, they push him into the bases. They run into Stalkers. Classic is all over this. And Reynor is just being shut down so hard, losing almost every single Muta. Oh, God. Yeah, the Phoenixes are insane. Once again, does overextend. Lynx, they try to bust into the base. And nice hold position micro. Probes are finally going down. Finally, some economic damage. But Reynor has lost too much. Reynor, he's lost how many? He's lost 55 Mutas. Oh, God. 55 Mutas, 200 Zerglings, 229 even. Again, just such efficiency here from Classic, and now he's pushing. Now he's pushing, he's breaking out, and Reynor cannot stop him. He cannot stop the main army. It's not going to happen. Again, Reynor's army is built to harass, not built to fight. It's not built to engage. And we have a Hive on the way that would have been for Ultras. Reynor, he has to counterattack. The base is going to go down. You have the defensive warp in. Cannons are buying time. And Classic is pushing in. He's going for the kill. Reynor, he has to go for the base trade. It's the only way. Mutas, sorry, the Phoenixes are racing back home. Mutas, they bust into the main. At the same time, Classic splits up. Breaks the natural. Breaks the third as well. There are Corruptors, so the Phoenixes, they can't quite engage with the Mutas. Okay. Reynor, he can try to pull this off. Kills the fourth base. At the same time, his main is about to go down as well, though. And there are Archons at home to defend. Yeah, Classic, he's holding. He's holding back at home. The natural is secure. The third base less so, but yeah, GG gets called. There's just nothing left here, and Classic, he will defend, he will attack, he will extend his lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. As we mentioned, kind of leading into this game, we were talking about the benefits of Mutas and where they can really excel. We brought it up in the first couple of minutes, or once we saw the Spire. When it comes to Muta play here, especially in this matchup, it can be successful if it goes unscouted. If you remember, it did get scouted. If you recall, as Mutas were amassing, as Mutas were moving out towards left-hand side, Classic, he did spot them, and Classic, he threw down his cannons, threw down a second Stargate, and he started Phoenix production. Like Classic, he did have the wherewithal, he did have the foresight to get ready for it ahead of time. He did confirm it early on, early enough. Again, going into Mutas, it is so heavily reliant on keeping it hidden, on making a surprise. If you don't surprise your opponent, then games like this happen, where Classic, he just turtles up, he defends, he shuts it down. GG. GG, well played. With that, Classic takes the lead, and now we're getting into game number 3. Let's go. Getting into game 3. And the pressure is on Reynor. We'll see if he can bring it back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Basilisk, leading the series down in the series, my apologies. Okay, didn't get a lot of sleep tonight. Down in the series, 0-2. We'll see if we can bring it back. We'll see if we can make a series out of this. It is Reynor. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. Again, in Classic game 1, he was able to keep up with the Ling Hydra of Reynor, able to confirm that Reynor was teching and just embrace Sky Toss and snowball out of control. In game 2, Classic, he was able to scout the Muta play, able to scout it in time and able to shut it down and able to defend, persevere, snowball out of control as well. Game 3, What's the plan for Reynor? Reynor has been mixing it up. He's been shifting gears so far every game in the series. I'm expecting to see something different once again. Now, welcome one and all to Persephone. Persephone is an interesting map in the map pool. Does have a more direct rush distance by air, like short rush distance by air, because that muta play could be successful here, but I don't recommend going mutas 2 games in a row, especially after it did fall on its face in game number 2. Likewise, rush distance by ground is shorter. We have seen a lot of German taxis. We have seen a lot of ground-based all-ins on 3 bases on Persephone, so that's going to be viable here for Reynor. Otherwise, it's a map of extremes. Either we see all-ins or we see a lot of late game. This is one of those maps where it is very easy to cut in half. Very, very easy. The other thing about this map is it's difficult to take your opponent's bases. When it comes to the fringe base on this in the center left or the top right-hand base as well, they're pretty secure. Even if you don't take them yourselves, your opponent won't be able to take them either, just because they are very much so on your side of the map. They're very much so isolated, and it's hard to really kind of gain control and take those bases from your opponent. So we do often see a lot of split map, a lot of late game, if we can get past the 4-base setup. But we'll see. We shall see. For now, Stargate Opener out of Classic, and Hatch Gas Pool out of Reynor. Classic is going to be zoned away. 3rd base is being taken. And we'll see what Reynor goes for. Does he open up Evo Chamber? Does he open up Roaches? Again, typically we're looking to see if the Zerg player does some shenanigans here and does something quirky to bring down the Protoss. That's what we're expecting. As Classic does slip in. We'll threaten the main. Does cancel the shade. Doesn't quite get a drone. Bit of miscontrol. Does attack the queen. Gets 1 drone so far and just 1. Acceptable losses for Reynor. Reynor, he defends. He does defend quite nicely here. We do have the Oracle moving out. Spore is almost done. Queen is in position. Oracle will get 1 drone, we'll get 2, 3 even. Jesus. 3 drones go down. Once again, Spore not quite done either. Not at the natural, that's going to be 6 drone kills. 7? Oh my god. Brutal damage. 6 drones go down. A very strong start here from Classic. Strong start. Lings, they do go for the counterattack. They get a surround. Does catch the Adept. Not bad. Takes down the Adept, but I would still say this is a stronger start here for Classic. It's 1 of 3 bases. Twilight Council's on the way into Forge, plus on a Blink. Standard follow-up. Once again, we're expecting early Temple Archives out of Classic to go into Storm. And we're still waiting to see what Reynor brings to the table. What do you have for us? What do you got? Classic does rotate. And okay, this I was not expecting, but once again, something different. It is going to be a 5-minute lair timing into a Roach Warren. Okay. Roach Warren for the first time this series. We have not gone for Roaches at all so far in this best of 5. So Reynor, once again, he's mixing it up. And we'll see when he does cut worker production. As I'm not ruling out a Roach all in. By the way, I'm not ruling that out. The 4th base is on the way for Larva at least. Does take his gases. It does go for the Evo Chamber. Okay, that tells us we're going for a laser timing. We're waiting for upgrades. We're building up. Meanwhile, Classic going into an earlier charge. Temple Archives is done, working towards Storm. Ooh, and meanwhile, Stasis does go for the main. Brutal connection, catching up most of the mineral line. Ay, ay, ay. And we're taking up into an infestation pit. Okay, that I was not expecting. Pit is on the way. Are we going into Swarm Host? I mean, that is viable in this matchup. True. No, never mind. We have the Hydrogen. So Reynor, it looks like only a safety roach one. He's not making any roaches. He's setting up for Lurker Tech. Stasis is denied. Prism is on the way, going for an Archon drop. No Storm. Oracle goes down. The Archon drop is coming in. Again, charge is already complete. +1 is on the way. And there are no roaches. Yeah, reactive roaches here in production. Reynor is getting caught with his pants down. Queens are under fire. Lings are trying to collapse in. But Queens are going down. Yeah, Queens are going down. Drones are getting exposed. And this is getting out of hand. This is getting critical damage already. Yeah, Queens are falling left and right. Down to 2 Queens. Roach is just now popping out, but this is brutal here at the same time. Drones are falling. Yeah, massive warping into the main. Drones are going down. And before Reynor can really embrace his bases here, before he can take up into a hive and into lurkers, this is too much. It's too much, Pap. You don't like this. Another Queen gets surrounded. Archon's just double control in the natural. Prism is still alive. And just a cheeky timing here from Classic. Again, he went for the early Temple Archives, but no Storm. GG, the 1G out of Reynor. And Classic, he will take the series 3-0, becoming this week's Korean StarCraft League champion. GG. GG, well played. A very, very cheeky build here from Classic. Winding it back here. Typically, every game so far, he's been going for earlier Storm. He's gone for a Temple Archives into Storm. This game, he did open up into Charge. He went +1 Charge into no Storm, Archon drop, Prism across the map into a very early warp in timing there. And we saw that Reynor, he had a Roach Warren, he had 0 roaches. Reynor, he was cutting corners. He went for a roach opener into a 4th base, into droning, into a lair, into an infestation pit. He was taking up into a hydrogen. He was taking up so much. He had the infestation pit, he had the hydrogen, he had the lurker den, or he was thinking about the lurker den, he had the roach warren, but he had 0 roaches. He was being so greedy. He was cutting a lot of corners, and with that, GG. GG well played. He had nothing to defend. He had a handful of Zerglings and a handful of Queens, and with that, Classic claims the win. GG, well played. Impressive play there by Classic. Again, typically KSL is herO's tournaments. herO, he has won so many Korean StarCraft leagues, but this week Classic takes down herO in the semis and takes down Reynor in the finals, and that is a back-to-back win here for Classic. What I mean by that, this week Classic, he wins KSL and he also wins the Wardy TV Monday. During the Monday tournament, Classic, he took down MaxPax and he took down Shin as well in the grand finals. So Classic winning 2 of the weeklies so far, and there's 1 weekly left. What do we have? I guess 4 weeklies left. 2 weeklies even. Sorry, 4 in total. We have Tuna Cup, that's going to be later on tonight, and we have the Pigasaur Cup as well. Now, Classic, he isn't really too active when it comes to either the Tuna Cup or the Pigasaur Cup, so I don't know if we'll be there for them, but he could go for even more this week. He could just win everything. We'll see. As Classic has been on a tear this week. 2 wins so far, 2 weeklies. GG. GG, well played. And with that, that does conclude our coverage of the KSL. Again, this event did occur over the weekend, did occur on Saturday. At the time, we were covering the Fusion Esports League, and we were otherwise resting up for the rest of the broadcast. So I do apologize for not covering this live. We'll do our best to cover this live when it comes back, post EWC. It was announced not too long ago that the KSL is going to be going on hiatus. It's going to be going on a hiatus. The next Korean StarCraft League is going to be in August. Let me just double check. Let me double check, but quickly checking our calendar here. Yes, so the next KSL is going to be August the 2nd. That's going to be the week after EWC, so after Esports World Cup, then is going to be the next KSL. Until then, the KSL is going to be going on that hiatus. So again, much love to Chicken Man and Dave Testa. They do a lot of work hosting and organizing the Korean StarCraft League, but again, they're going to be putting it on a break here so everyone can get ready for the Esports World Cup. So big shout out to Dave and Chicken Man for for putting in the work, for hosting the event. Likewise, as you can see here, when it comes to our schedule, our next broadcast is going to be later on tonight. You can see us here on Tuesday. We're here Tuesday morning. We just wrapped up KSL. Later on tonight, we have Sparkling Tuna Cup. Now, you might be thinking, hold up, isn't Tuna Cup on Sundays? What's going on? It is, typically, but this week we were casting the Fusion Esports League qualifiers over the weekend, and it was clashing with Tuna Cup, and we didn't want to force players to pick between the global qualifier of FEL and a weekly tournament, so we didn't want to clash. As a result, we actually did reschedule, and Tuna Cup is going to be tonight. It's going to be tonight instead. Because of that, it might have less signups than usual, just because it's at a more awkward time, not at a regular time over the weekend. So regardless, we're going to run it, and of course that's going to be in 6.5 hours. Sorry, 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours we're going to be live with the Tuna Cup. Meanwhile, we have Pigastar Cup tomorrow morning, we have the Pondcast tomorrow evening, we have StarCraft League, more Fusion Esports League as well, and of course next week's Tuna Cup on Sunday at its regular time slot. So that's going to be our schedule for the week. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Again, it is going to be a bit of a shorter broadcast today, which I'm more than happy with. I barely got any sleep, I'll be honest. Gonna get some breakfast. And then I'm gonna go to bed. Gonna get ready for some more StarCraft. Let's go. Classic gonna win EWC? He might. But yeah, Classic looking really good. I mean, hey, he's been looking in form for sure. I would still rate herO over Classic when it comes to their back and forth play. But Classic has been definitely committing a lot of time and been devoting a lot and improving a lot as well. I think what's important about everyone's current form is that everyone is only going to get better. Remember, EWC is how long away? EWC is 2 weeks. 2 weeks away at this point. 2 weeks. Almost on the dot, actually. So for the next 2 weeks, Reynor is practicing, he's improving, Clem's is doing the same, herO, Maru, Classic, everyone is training, everyone is practicing, everyone will be in form in 2 weeks for EWC. And we'll see what that rate of improvement leads to and who's going to be, in form, locked in on the day. Or on that week, I should say. Oh boy, so they still got 2 weeks, to get ready. To get ready for some more StarCraft for that global finals. Let's go. Yep, 22nd to 25th. So until then, we're going to be getting some rest. Here again. We're going to be back in 7.5 hours. We'll see you then. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Again, we are live every single day here on the CranKy Ducklings, and more than any other channel out there, by the way. We cast all the StarCraft, and we'll see you later tonight for the Tuna Cup. See you later tonight. Who's casting EWC? We know that we're going to be casting it. I'm sure that some of the other streams are going to be live with it as well. But we'll at least be live here on the Ducklings, as always, puppy, as always. But otherwise, we'll see you guys later on tonight or tomorrow. Take care. Have a great rest of your day and have a great rest of your week as well. And I know there's a lot of StarCraft coming up. As always, we'll do our best to bring you as much StarCraft as we can. We'll do our best. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go pass out. I'm gonna go get some sleep, papi. Yeah. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.